He lost his life fighting for our country more than 6 decades ago. He was laid to rest as an unknown soldier until just months ago when he was identified through DNA testing. Now, a local soldier is coming home and will be honored as he moves on to his final resting place.
This is one of our own, and we'll be proud to do it.
It is the kind of closure thousands of U.S. soldiers lost in battle and their loved ones are still waiting for tonight. Good evening, I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Leon Bibb. Private First Class Donald Durfee of Paynesville was 19 years old when he was killed in action during the Korean War. While no relatives are left here in Ohio, News Channel 5's Paul Kiska tells us he will still get a soldier's welcome when he comes back home tomorrow.
Well, that's exactly right, Leon. This soldier is coming home 64 years later, but it proves it's never too late to say thank you.
It's been 64 years. This is all about his journey coming home, and it's been quite a story.
The soldier's story Joseph Creation is talking about involves Army Private Donald Durfee from Paynesville. In 1950, Durfee was killed in action during the Korean War. His remains not identified until recently. Durfee has no known family in Ohio, but he is not alone. 7,500 Americans are still unaccounted for from the Korean War, 442 from Ohio.
Something like this, bringing him home, means a lot to all those people that have had similar situations.
This is one of our own.
Parma resident and Staff Sergeant Richard Borkowski saw combat in Korea. He didn't know Durfee, but he knew him. Borkowski, now 81, plans to be here Wednesday when Durfee lies in honor at Creation Funeral Home. Why?
Because he's a part of something that I went through. And I feel that he's got to be recognized, and that's what we want to do for his service, and proud of the fact that he did serve.
These chairs will not be empty at Durfee's services. Veterans groups plan to attend. Burial will be Thursday with full military honors.
To bring this young man's journey to an end after 64 years, showing him that you loved him and you cared about him, and even though you didn't know him.
Durfee's remains are expected to arrive at Hopkins International Airport at 11:58 a.m. tomorrow. He will be escorted by the Ohio Patriot Guard Riders. There'll be bagpipers, Cleveland Police, and fire units, and they'll bring him here, that procession, to the Creation Berry Funeral Home right here at 7200 Detroit Avenue on Cleveland's west side. A little more information: his remains will lie in honor Wednesday afternoon from 2 to 4 and Thursday from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Burial will take place Thursday at the Ohio Western Reserve National Cemetery in Rittman with full military honors 64 years later. Live from the west side, I'm Paul Kiska, News Channel 5.
Thank you, Paul. Before you get away, let me ask you, can the general public take part in the procession tomorrow?
Good question, Leon. Again, they're invited to come here to these services Wednesday and Thursday, but also, yeah, they're asked to put out American flags along the procession route, which is expected to arrive here around 12:30, 12:45 p.m. around lunchtime tomorrow. They're asked to put flags around this route at West 72nd and Detroit.
Many thanks for your report. Thank you, Paul. The Department of Defense founded the Armed Forces DNA Identification Library in the early 1990s. Since then, it's been collecting DNA from families of unidentified military members from Vietnam, Korea, and World War II, as well as the Cold War. And DNA samples are now taken from everyone who joins the United States Armed Forces.